In case you missed it, I am not in Chicago this week. Nope, I am in Montana and I am driving the 2025 Subaru Forester. This is a next-gen vehicle. It receives pretty much everything new. It's significantly restyled. It has a new chassis, new underpinnings, new design, styling, all of the things. Even the engine has been tweaked. What I'm going to do in this video is I am going to do a quick walk around and I will tell you 5 good things, 5 bad things, and I'm going to give you some driving impressions. My name is Jill Ciminillo with Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, and let's take a closer look right now. All right, since we're here, let's just start with the walk around. And this is the limited trim of the Subaru Forester. And you can tell this is more of an evolution than a complete rejiggering of this vehicle because it still has the upright stance, but they have definitely given it a little bit more of an aggressive look, and you can see like a little bit more of an upright stance to the grille. You have wraparound headlights, you have new wheels, you have you know, just some things going on that make this look more up-to-date, more refreshed, more restyled. We were driving the Sport model earlier, and that has bronze accents on it. I like to call them brown accents, but this is a limited trim, so you're gonna see some more bougie accents instead of the bronzy accents. But new for this year, every trim is going to get roof rack, roof rails, I guess you could say, and again, just the updated styling with the headlights, the tail lights, and starting at the Sport trim, you have the available option to get a kick-activated liftgate. So that's kind of a nifty little feature. And the vehicle really isn't any bigger than the previous generation. It's still very nimble, still very, lots of great visibility out all of the windows because you have a lot of windows, again, because of the upright stance. So cargo space is really accessible. You'll notice it has like a lower load floor, so that makes it easier for pets to jump in, but it also makes it really easier, well, a lot easier for you to load your gear in. So I like that. Something else to point out is in the rear, you have these little tie-down areas, and that is new for this model year. So you can also put like a little shelf on here. It's an accessory, so you can double stack things. You've got this lovely little cargo cover, which in Chicago I super duper appreciate. And you even have an area right here where you could put one of those little hooks, and then you could hang a lantern off of this. So if you were camping, car camping, you would have the ability to have a little extra light at night before you closed in. So one of the great things about the Forester is, again, because of the upright stance, you can fit a lot of stuff in here. With the seats down, with the seats up, there's just some really good cargo volume. So we will take I'm gonna kick that closed, and we will take a quick look inside to show you some of the changes here, because you get the new updated infotainment system with the large vertical screen. You get wireless Apple CarPlay, so I've got my phone connected right now, so it's on the wireless Apple CarPlay. You have heated seats, and some in the touring trim you even get ventilated seats. You have wireless charging, as well as, you know, the USB-A and USB-C charge ports, so you can also wire it in. And yeah, we'll talk about that on the likes and do not likes, the 5 good things, 5 bad things. You have nice seating surfaces, really good stitching accents, and I will say the heated seats work really well. I like the leather on the steering wheel. You don't have a digital display, you have analog gauges, but I think it works. You know, with the Subaru, analog gauges work. So I really like the vertical screen. I like the fact that you have the actual controls and buttons that you can hit to increase your, you know, heat, but then everything else that you need is static on the bottom of the screen and it doesn't go away. I am going to point out auto stop start. Don't like it. That makes the bad list, but you have the ability to turn it on or off right here, and that never goes away. So you don't have to pull down a menu or a screen or anything to find the auto stop start button. I like the accents. You've got this really interesting pattern here on the dash, and again, just some really nice trim pieces, and you know, the leather that you've got on the seating surfaces. Moving into the back row, back seat. Again, you've got the nice seating surfaces that carry through. I point out you have this space right here. People put a lot of stuff on the roof, so they've got this really big step, so you can step there and then you can reach up here and pull yourself up in order to put stuff on the roof. So, okay, I wear a size 5 shoe, but that'll fit somebody's bigger foot. Also in the back, you have USB-A and USB-C ports. You have air vents, and on the touring trim, you will also get heated seats back here. So that is just a quick look at the Subaru Forester 2025 model year. All right, it is now time for me to get into 5 good things and 5 bad things. And what I'm going to start with are the good things. And you know what? Let's just start with comfort and driving position. I really like how adjustable these seats are. And, you know, in most trims, you're going to have power adjustable seats. And so, you know, they go down, they go up, they go forward, they go backward. I don't even have this all the way. This is how far forward it goes, and this is too much for me. But if you were shorter than me, you would have more space to work with. So what I really like is the seats themselves are really comfortable. I don't know what they did with the bolstering or the padding that they put in here, but it manages to be both firm and soft at the same time. And I noticed that while we were going over like bumps and ridges, like I just felt kind of like cushioned. But it was firm enough that it didn't make me feel at all like it was too squishy. So I really like the overall comfort of the seat. I really like the driving position. As you can see, I'm far enough away, but close enough that I just feel very comfortable in the driver's seat. Not to mention the fact that there's just really good visibility with all of the big glass that you've got going on here. So the first thing that I really like, the first thing on the good list is going to be the fact that you've got really good you know, visibility and comfort and driving position going on. So that is thing number 1. Now the second thing on the like list, I'm just going to keep this camera angle because the second thing that I want to talk about on the like list is going to be, in addition to general comfort, is the handling of the vehicle. This is really comfortable. I've been essentially in this seat for 5 hours, 6 hours, and the overall comfort is just really, really good. It handles well, it's smooth on pavement, and we were going over a lot of rocky bits, and this just managed to handle the rougher pavement really well. So I like how it is on highway, I like how it is on dirt roads, I like how it is over the gravelly bits and the rocks. Just generally, the handling on this is incredibly solid. And I will also point out with that, when we were on the highway, when we were on the rocky bits, this is very quiet. So all of that is going to be rolled into the second thing on the good list. Now the third thing on my like list is going to be this new infotainment system. In addition to the larger 11.6-inch screen, you have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and you have just really nice large buttons and graphics that even bigger fingers are going to be able to hit. You have your X mode, which is in a separate spot up here. It's static, that doesn't move. You have your HVAC controls down here, that is also static and doesn't move. And then you have some of your little home function buttons that doesn't move. So this is the screen right here that is going to be your menu and the place that you can swipe through. I like the fact that you also have your HVAC buttons right here that are hard touch buttons that you can easily, you know, tap up while you're driving, and you don't have to look down and try and worry about hitting a screen. This is a limited trim, so it has heated seats, but on the touring trim, you also have ventilated seats, and all of that is going to be found in this static area down here. So I like the screen, I like how it looks, I like the vertical application of Apple CarPlay, I like the wirelessness of it, I like this, and it works well. Now, the fourth thing on the like list has to be pricing. This is a very competitively priced vehicle, and if you look at it in comparison to the Toyota RAV4 and the Honda CR-V, you will find that it is only going to be a couple $100 one way or the other different if you spec out a comparably equipped vehicle, and that means you have to opt for the all-wheel drive versions of those vehicles. This is not available in a non-all-wheel drive vehicle. This is available only as all-wheel drive, but you know, this is a great system, and they pack a lot in for the price of this vehicle. So the base price of the Forester is going to be just under $30,000. So for your base model, $30,000. Now that does come with a smaller infotainment screen and, you know, not as many goodies, but the really cool thing I think about this vehicle is the fact that once you level all the way up to the touring trim, is you only had $10,000, and that's all in. So $39,000, you get all of the tech goodies. You get a rear camera mirror, you get a 360-degree camera, you get the kick-activated liftgate, you get the heated and ventilated seats, heated rear seats, you get all of the things for $40,000. In my mind, I'm like, okay, you could get a base model and have a little dinky 7-inch screen and pay $10,000 less, but how much does it add to your monthly payment just to go all in for that touring trim? But that's just me. So I really like the pricing. And you know what? We're in a limited trim right now, and I happen to have a little sheet with the options. So you know what? I'm just gonna take a quick look at that with you. So this specific vehicle that we're driving right here is Forester Limited in the Horizon Blue Pearl, which I really like that color. But you can see you've got the specs right here. So the engine is 2.5 liter and 180 horsepower, 178 pound-feet of torque. The torque number is new, as is the torque curve. So that is new. And one of the really interesting specs on here that I'm going to point out really quick is just the fact that this has a 16.6 gallon tank. That's about 2 gallons more than most of the vehicles in its competitive set. So you have this really long list of standard features, and I'm not going to read through them all, but you know, you just have a lot of really good things on this vehicle. And then when you look at the as tested price, you're only at $38,000. So again, you know, I would probably just, you know, go straight to the touring trim for my money, but I want all the goodies. But this has the optional Starlink and the hardened Karman 11 speaker system, and then the reverse automatic braking. So that added about $1,600 to the bottom line. The base price for this is just $36,000. And then all in tested was $38,000. So I think that this is just a really well packaged vehicle for the money and for what you get. Now, to talk about the final thing on my like list, I had to switch into the top tier bougie touring trim of the 2025 Subaru Forester because there are two tech features on this vehicle that you can't get on any other trim. But I really like that Subaru is making these features available for the first time, and that, again, these features are available on a vehicle that costs $40,000. So let's just flip the camera around and see what those things are. All right, so let's start with this right here. So you're looking out your rear view mirror, and yeah, you have really good visibility. That's a big window. You can see really clearly out the back, but somebody who has this vehicle is probably going to be camping, kayaking, hauling things, doing something cool, putting bikes in the back, and it's going to obscure the visibility out of this mirror. So what Subaru has done is they have added a rear camera mirror. So there's a camera on the back of the vehicle, kind of up the top, and it shows really good view out the back. So you can stack things in, you can have tall people in the second row seat, and you're still going to be able to see what is behind you. And I really, really like that. And while this is only available on the top tier touring trim, again, this vehicle is $40,000, and I think this is a really nice feature to have on a vehicle at that price point. Now, the second feature, you got to come down here and you have an around view camera. So when you put the vehicle in reverse, you know, the camera pops up and you can change the view here by pressing this little camera button, and it will show you your around view, you know, an around view here, around view there, or like back view there, around view there. So I just like the fact that you have some options here in terms of the camera view. And this is the first time you've got an around view camera on this vehicle. And I really think that this vehicle was missing out by not having it, especially it's great in a city environment, but even if you take this off-road, it's also very helpful there so that you can see all around the vehicle and you know where you need to put your wheels while you are driving. So I really, really appreciate the fact that this vehicle now has that available. Thus, that is the final thing on my like list. All right, now it is time for me to transition to the things that I don't like, and this could be a me problem. So while I really like how the Subaru Forester handles, I found the acceleration to be a little bit lackluster. So if you're trying to pass on the highway, if you are trying to like come off of a stop really fast, this just it didn't work for my style of driving. I think for most people it's going to be fine, but the acceleration wasn't great, and that is going to be thing number one on the do not like list. The second thing on the do not like list should come to no surprise to anybody who's ever watched anything that I've ever done on this channel or any other channel. And yeah, it's this right here. This wireless charger stinks. I don't know if it heated up my phone or not while it was charging, because it doesn't actually ever charge my phone. There is nothing here to hold your phone in place. And if you're going over rocky, gravelly roads and you're off camber at all, your phone slides off and it immediately stops charging your phone. So this is just, you know, the placement of it isn't bad, but there just needs to be like a grip or something on here so that it holds your phone in place so that it doesn't slide off, or there just needs to be a wider area that makes it active for charging your phone. And yeah, so I didn't like that. If you're going to have a wireless charger in a vehicle, it should work, and this does not, and I don't like that. So the third thing on the do not like list is going to be this right here. We were in a lot of dusty places today, so this is probably a little bit more egregious than normal, but black lacquer gets dusty. So, I mean, thankfully, I will say thankfully, this is right here the only place they put black lacquer on the vehicle. So they've got really nice trim on the dash here. You've got like a little wood accent. So this is it, but I wish there was some kind of a different material that they could have put around here, because I just feel like I need to dust this. Now, as I have pointed out, this right here is a limited trim, and you have leather seats. You've got leather seats, you've got, you know, leather here, you have leather on the steering wheel. And what I want to say is there are people who don't like leather and they don't want leather. And the only Subaru Forester model that does not have any leather in it whatsoever is the base model. So if you are vegan and you really are against using leather, the only model you can buy is that base model, because it doesn't use a leather steering wheel. But you miss out on a lot of the technology. You don't get this lovely screen. You're not going to get heated seats. You're not going to get the wireless charger. I mean, okay, you could do without the wireless charger because it doesn't work. But, you know, you will have cloth seats, which that's fine. But a lot of the high-level tech feature items are not optional or available on that base model, and so you sacrifice a lot of technology to not have leather, and I feel like that's a little bit of a miss. I really wish that there were more non-leather options for those people who want them, and it's not available. So that makes thing number 4. Now, the final thing on the do not like list is following along the lines of the lack of leather options, I guess. Kind of flows from that a little bit. And that's the fact that you can only get the higher tech new features on the top tier Grand Touring trim. Now, granted, $40,000 for that vehicle is not a lot of money, but I really wish that the rear camera mirror and the 360-degree camera were optioned maybe as a part of a tech package, either at the sport trim or the limited trim at the very least. Like, I would love to see those two features specifically as options on lower trims, but right now the only trim that you can get it on is the Touring. So I think that's a little bit of a miss. I don't know that any of the things on the bad list or on the do not like list are deal breakers. I really don't think they are, except maybe the acceleration. Maybe, I don't know. But I don't think any of those things are deal breakers necessarily, but it's just things to know and things that I just don't necessarily like. So there you go. All right, it is time for me to do some quick driving impressions, and overall, I really like this new Subaru Forester. If you followed me for a while, you know I'm a fan of the Forester. This is a car that I have recommended for people to buy. It's a car that I wanted my mother to buy. I like this car. I like the safety. I like the rugged, upright stance. I like the seat comfort. I like the visibility. Like, with the upright stance, you get really good visibility out of all of the windows. And so there are very few things that I don't like about this vehicle, as you saw in my good list, bad list. But in terms of driving impressions, what I want to say is I have a great driving position. The telescoping tilt steering wheel allows me to get far enough away from the wheel so that I don't, I don't feel like I'm too close, and I have a really comfortable position. I do want to say I really like the seat bottoms because they're shorter, so that could be a bit of a problem for somebody who's a little bit taller. So if you are test driving this car, you're going to want to spend some time and you're going to want to focus on the seat bottoms and if you need more thigh support. This is very quiet. A lot of the wind noise has been removed from this vehicle. I do hear a little bit of wind noise over the side mirror. There's a little bit of tire noise coming in, but overall the NVH is very much improved. This is a very quiet cabin. And this is a very comfortable, smooth ride. The one thing with driving impressions that I'm going to say is a little bit meh, and maybe this comes from somebody who is more of an aggressive driver, the acceleration is just okay. And it's probably more to do with the CVT than the actual horsepower. But I found that trying to merge onto a highway, trying to accelerate quickly from a stop, it just kind of goes, and I mean, you get there, you do get there, and there was no danger involved, but it's just a little bit slow. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. It's a little bit slow. But otherwise, there's very little that I don't like about this vehicle. And if you're not an aggressive driver, whether this is like a little bit sluggish off the start is not gonna be a problem for you. So if I had to sum up the 2025 Subaru Forester in a sentence, I would say this is an attractive, tech-forward, capable vehicle that is really, really comfortable to drive. Yeah, that's it. That's what I want to say. All right, that is what I have for you on the 2025 Subaru Forester. Thank you for watching, and I will see you down the road.